Okay, this is another gardening video for you guys. You can see here in front of me is a lavender plant. I grow lavender. Lavender is very interesting. We'll get into that later. Mostly this is just a nice background for you to look at. This video is about plum tree varieties for the Southwest. A lot of people are interested in this. If you're in a hot, dry climate or an area that is prone to drought, you need to have information that can help you to be more successful with fruit trees and orchard trees. Specifically, not everything's going to work well in the Southwest. So anyone in the area between Colorado and California, anywhere in between, uh, south of Idaho also, and including parts of Idaho, not everything's going to work there, especially areas with low water. And so what you can do, I've got some research for you that can help you. The idea is if you get fruit trees that are not good for your area, it basically means more work. It could mean a lot of work, and you can get to the point where you're actually losing efficiency that you could be gaining in other areas by instead picking something that's better for your environment. And a perfect example of that is cherry trees. So cherry trees, people are obsessed with cherry trees. They love cherry flavoring. They like cherry pie. They like cherry ice cream, whatever. Cherries are an example of one of the worst orchard trees you could pick for a farm or a gardening area. You don't want to pick cherries. And what happens is, usually someone in the family wants cherry trees anyway, and people will go along with it. And what happens is, cherry trees, for one cherry tree, you can spend the same amount of effort on that one tree that you could have instead spent on probably 7 to 10 other fruit trees. This is not an exaggeration. We've had cherry trees for over a decade. I'm very tired of cherry trees, and part of the problem is they're very pest prone. We get aphids on them every year. Uh, they require a lot of maintenance. They get sick easy. The bugs affect them. The bugs destroy them. You have to spray them. And also what happens is when you go to pick the cherries, they're so small and difficult to pick and process that you could have spent the same amount of time picking them and processing them and doing all of this stuff with something else like apples in much less time. So this is why I don't really like cherries very much. And so I would encourage you to pick stuff that is more hardy for your climate and that is rated for very low maintenance. Low maintenance on not just bugs, but also water and other things. In our yard, for probably over 30 years, we've had many different kinds of fruit trees, and a lot of the time, the stuff that is best for your area gets overlooked because of what people think is popular and going to taste good. And this idea that there are actually fruit trees that you could pick for your land that are actually almost maintenance free. There's things that you might never have to water, and that's amazing. You want something like that. You want something that you're not going to spend a lot of time on and that you're putting to work. So if you have to spend time on it, you're working for the plant. If the plant can maintain itself without your help, then it's working for you. And this is how you should be thinking and what you want to talk about. So for our state, this is a Southwest state, plum trees are highest rated for being maintenance free, very little maintenance, and producing without you having to really worry about or do very much, and for survivability. Next is apricots, very similar. And then you have apples. Apples are pretty good, but they sometimes need a little help, particularly with bugs and spraying. I don't like spraying, I like to find other ways, and I'll talk about a way to do that with apple trees later. Peaches and pear trees are sort of next, kind of together, where they need a little more help. And cherries are at the bottom of the list. They're the worst rated for this state. Now, a lot of people are going to argue about this because they're going to say, well, I know Alberta is full of cherry trees. They have a massive cherry crop every year, and that's true. But for the same amount of effort and for much more time and cost, you could be doing maybe 5 to 10 other trees for the same amount of effort for that one cherry tree. But is that really going to be worth your time? You want it to work for you, not the other way around. So back to this idea, plum trees and apricot trees, they are desert hardy or hardy for drought hardy areas. Excellent choice. I know people don't think that's a very popular choice because there are other things taste better. I do like peaches and apple stuff more. And apples can be done fairly low maintenance in some ways also, but there are still some issues to work out. But this could really help you if anywhere in an area where you're looking for something that you don't have to maintain. There's lists of stuff that you can do that is low maintenance. Now, other things that are low maintenance are date palms, olives, and pomegranates, but those don't like a cold winter, those kinds of trees. But if you're in an area like really down south, then you might consider those. But again, picking something that can't handle the winter very good is also a mistake. That's it for now.